My name is Nigel English. I am the overarching Chair of Examiners for GCSE Sciences and A-Level Sciences for Pearson. I've taught for 30 years in schools, and I acted as the Chair of Examiners for an examining board for 25 years. In my role as overarching Chair of Examiners for GCSE and A-Level Sciences, the main focus, the only focus, is on the quality and the consistency of the assessments we offer to the students. A key focus there is on the accessibility of the papers that the students sit. Accessibility in terms of the most able being stretched, in terms of the least able at least having access to the questions that are posed. One key aspect of accessibility is the use of language in examinations. There are two aspects to this. The first is the simple use of language in terms of either a simple recall question or in terms of giving the students instruction on what they're supposed to do in answering the question. The second is more difficult in that we have to, in application and evaluation questions, give sufficient information for them to be able to apply their knowledge from the specification in answering those questions. So we have to give sufficient context or sufficient data for them to be able to use. We must be careful not to introduce too much information into such questions, so much that the students get lost in answering the question. Another aspect which is important for students is the consistent use of command words. They know if we say describe, it is a description. They know if we say explain, it's an explanation. They know if the calculation is required, they will carry that out. And we're trying to ensure that these command words are used entirely consistently across the piece and carried through into A level, so there's no disjunction between the two levels. In the new specifications, there has been an increase in the maths demand across all three subjects. We have made sure that the maths is tied to biology, chemistry or physics content. It is not maths for maths' sake. We also have to bear in mind, of course, the practical work that the students have done. This practical work involves core practicals, and of course any questions on those core practicals is also recall, hence the possible problem with equations and recall. But we will also ask design practicals, improving on procedures that we've given the students, which require them to use their knowledge and apply that knowledge to answering the question. So there's a range of ways we can make accessibility better for the students. I've been overarching Chair of Examiners for GCSE and A-Level for Pearson for 12 months. I've worked with all of the teams preparing science examinations at Pearson, and each of those teams is committed to producing the best papers, the fairest papers for the students who sit them. Fair in terms of stretching the most able, fair in terms of making the questions accessible for the least able at whatever level. This includes improving accessibility of the examinations in terms of language, in terms of structure, in terms of consistency. This summer, I've carried out extensive research, item level research, into all of the questions sat by students in the examinations in science. I will use that study to brief the senior examiners early in the autumn term, so this information can be used to prepare the key focal points for 2019 and thereafter. I have a lot of empathy with teachers and with students in that they are preparing students over 2 years for examinations. These examinations must be fair and must allow the students to answer questions for which they have been prepared, whether it's recall questions or application and evaluation. And they deserve an examination which accurately reflects what they have learned. No surprises, no questions that aren't on the specification, sufficient information if they're applying their knowledge or evaluating information or data that we have given them. And that is what we are striving to do and will continue to do so in the future.